All right, guys, I have another Seiko King Turtle. This is the srpe05. There's the hang tag for 36 movement, $5.95 US suggested retail price. You're going to be able to get a discount on that, so you're going to pay less than that, probably close to the $400 mark. And we'll talk more about the price in a moment. But I believe this is probably out of the three King Turtles that were dropped, the blue one, the one that I actually have, which is being loaned out right now, the black dial variant of like this, where it has that grenade pattern on the dial, and then of course this drab olive green or whatever you want to call it. This one was probably the more controversial one. I think when most people looked at all three of those in the lineup, this is the one that most people probably thought, looked really cool, but yeah, it's a bit much. I'm going to go for either the black dialed one or the blue. I personally went with the blue. I purchased that one from Mimo. This one, my buddy Doug sent over. I'm pretty sure Doug bought all three models, but anyway, he sent this one over, and it has a kind of color matching. It's not exactly the same, which is actually kind of nice that it's a subtle difference. But I really like the dial color on this. If you even remotely think you could pull this one off, there's a ton of different straps you could put on there or bracelets. I think this one definitely would work on some really good, elastic, like Marine National type straps, or some military type straps, NATO style or whatever you want to call it. This one would definitely excel in that department, I think. I think it's just a very good looking watch. In most cases, it's going to look, dark enough that it's almost blackish, but when you look at it, it definitely in some bright light, it's going to have that very military green looking color. So in case you're wondering, the Turtle is a 45mm case. I measure just under 48 lug to lug. It's like 47.9 drilled lugs, 13mm thick, 22mm lug width. And the reason I think people are calling this the King Turtle is because when you compare it to a standard turtle, if you can call the srpe05, this guy here, a standard turtle, which I think this is probably one of the better of the normal turtles, if you will, the anthracite dial. But you'll see some changes here. So the big changes are obviously sapphire crystal on the King Turtle, and then a huge bezel difference there. And some people might prefer one over the other. I personally like the new bezel one. And then there's actually a bezel in between these two that was released that looks much like this one on the srpe, but has a little more grip on it. But even comparing that one with this one, I still prefer this new King Turtle bezel. Also has a ceramic bezel insert. It is not loomed, unfortunately, but it is ceramic with the sapphire. And then the day-date magnifier there, you can take it or leave it. You could remove it or swap the crystal or do whatever you want. The crown looks to be the same. I think pretty much everything else is going to be the same. So that's the big difference there. And really, if you look at these two models right here, you can get less expensive turtles. Let's be clear on that. But if you look at the more sought after ones like this one, the srpe23, this is $400 right now, currently. Price is probably going up on that. And right now, like, I'm just throwing these numbers out. This is a snapshot in time on eBay. I looked these up. $400 for the srpe23. This one on eBay right now is $400. So for $400, you can pick either one. I didn't check the other colorways on this one. So you have to decide, do you want, the anthracite dial, or would you pay the same price and, get the newer model with the sapphire crystal ceramic bezel insert, the different bezel. I think the bezel is really cool. Nice bezel action. This is the second US one that I've had, and the alignment, you have to kind of fudge it in between. If I settle it back or push it forward, it's not going to line up. Whereas this one is a JDM model. This one lines up perfectly. It's not always the case with JDM, but it seems like it's more likely with the JDM ones. And then you get this different colored silicone strap from Seiko too, which is also pretty cool, that you could keep and use on other watches as well. So anyway, guys, let me know what your thoughts are on that. Let me pop it on wrist real quick so you can see what it looks like on my about 7 1/8 inch wrist, approximately. So if you were wondering, I was wearing my new Doxa 200, which I'll do a video on that soon. But that's what I just took off wrist. But you can see The turtle looks great on just about any size wrist. I think most people can pull these off. And these new king turtles, I have to be honest with you guys, like I'm pretty much good to go with these the way they are right out of the box. I think I'm discovering I prefer the turtles on the factory silicone straps more than the bracelet. I don't know why, it feels more comfortable, it feels more natural on wrist. So this combo right here, I'm totally good with. This is a very good looking watch, good comfortable watch, and a great value prop at, you know, definitely sub 500, you know, in the $400 range. And if you can get them new for 400, you certainly are going to be able to find them closer to like $300 or $350 on the secondary market used. So now you're talking, you know, close to like SKX range. So definitely one to watch if you are a value or like a price shopper. You know, get these on the secondary market. Try to score one for like $300. You're golden. You have a really good watch. This one, like I said, this isn't my watch. This is Doug's watch. Otherwise, this blue would be off there. But you can see it has a little more labeling on the back there. It says Movement Japan, stainless steel, sapphire crystal, all that good stuff. And if we zoom in on the dial, you can see excellent job on the pattern, brushed handset, a little bit of gold tint to the seconds hand, as well as the diver 200 mark there just above the 6 o'clock. So overall, very good looking watch, and wears great, looks great, great price. I have no complaints with these. All three of the King Turtles are very good watches right out of the box. Very good finishing, and yeah, I don't know. I guess the only gripe I think people are going to have is that day-date magnifier, but you can resolve that. You can remove it, have it removed. You could swap out the crystal, or like me and a lot of other guys, I kind of find it slightly useful. You know, it does magnify the day and the date. You can see it right there. It makes it a little easier to read the day and date. If you are plus 40, close to 50, something like that, it's a useful tool. I'm totally fine with it, but I'm close to 45 years old. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. Big thanks to my buddy Doug for sending this in. Let me close you out with a lume shot on this. It's, you know, classic Seiko lume, so it's going to work great. You can see there, both of them illuminate totally fine. Yeah. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.